Welcome back to the online sessions on MWT. In this session, we try to discuss about the analysis of the E-plane, H-plane T, and magic T, which are known as the components of the microwave circuits. Now, here, in order to perform the analysis on these microwave components, we normally depend on the properties of S matrix. S matrix are known as scattering matrix parameters. So using the scattering matrix parameters, we normally going to find out the appropriate analysis of these three types of the microwave components. So as the wave is normally, EM wave is normally going to get transmitted through these particular microwave components. Okay, so because the output of the waveguides will be usually connected to the microwave components, and output of microwave components will be simply connected to the load of the microwave circuit. So this is what the basic structure, basic uh, block diagram issues of the microwave components. Now here S matrix is always a square matrix of the order n by n. So it's going to be always a square matrix. That means if you have 3-port device, you're going to have 3 by 3 matrix. If you have 4-port device, you're going to have 4 by 4 matrix. Right. So like that, we're going to have S matrix as a matrix of square matrix of the order n by n. And S matrix is a symmetric matrix where S suffix ij becomes equal to S suffix ji. We simply interchange the suffixes here. That means input output suffixes parameters we interchange, and the values are normally equal to same even if we interchange the input and output ports. Okay, so we'll discuss about what is this suffix I and j. Then S is a unitary matrix. What is the meaning of unitary matrix? If you perform product of the matrix with its complex conjugate, it results into an identity matrix, I matrix. So therefore it is going to be a unitary matrix. And next one is going to be the sum of products of each term of any row or a column multiplied by the complex conjugate of the corresponding terms of any other row or a column is normally equal to 0. That means when you perform this product of these two with the differences in the row column, okay, that means same row columns, we normally going to get the result as 0. Okay, but most importantly, the first three are really going to be the very, very important properties for us to deal with. Now, in the case of this S matrix, this first suffix I is the output port, and the second suffix J is nothing but the input port. So therefore, the S matrix can be defined as a normalized reflected wave to the incident wave, is known as the uh, basic definition of the S matrix. Basic definition of the S matrix. Now we'll go with the H plane T. So in the previous sessions, we discussed about various microwave components. Now we'll go with the analysis of these microwave components. So this is a H plane T where the wave is injected into the port 3. Now these two ports P1 and P2 are known as collinear ports because they are simply opposite to each other. And if you apply input to port 3, we normally going to get output from P1 and P2 of same amplitude and same phase. So since they are opposite to each other, they simply called as a collinear ports. They are called as collinear ports. So H plane is nothing but a 3-port device where the dimensions of this particular component is going to be the width of this central port is going to be A, height is going to be B. So it should be uniform throughout this particular H plane. Then only we normally going to consider this as a H plane T for us. And the matrix which we can form S matrix as 3 by 3 matrix because it has got 3 ports. Okay, port 3 is nothing but the H arm side. Port 1, port 2 are the collinear ports. And whereas this is going to be the axis of the side arm where we inject the input signal usually. So now we can just apply the properties of the we simply apply the properties of the S matrix in order to analyze this particular in order to analyze the operation of this particular H plane T. Now it's very simple, very straightforward. Just keep on applying the properties, you will be keep on getting the results. Very, very easy for us to go with. Now the first property is going to be the property of the H plane T. What is the property of the H plane T? See here, the second suffix is going to be the input port suffix. Input is port 3. If you see this, input is port 3. When you apply input to port 3, you're going to get output from port 2 and port 1. That means output is going to come from port 2. When you apply input from port 3, you get output from port 2 as well as output from port 3. And the magnitudes of them is normally same, and also phases is also going to be same. So that is what the property of the HRMT. So here, why it is happening now? It is because of plane of symmetry of the junction. At this junction, this plane is going to be a symmetrical plane. Because of this particular property, the scattering coefficients, that scattering is what? Spread across coefficients. So S13 and S23 must be equal in the case of the HRMT. That is the property of the HRMT. And later on, let us start applying the properties of the square matrix. From the symmetry property, Sij is equal to Sji. So simply I can simply make all these substitutions now. S12 becomes equal to S21, S23 becomes equal to S32. I'm interchanging the suffixes. That's all. And next, from the above relationship of the HRM, what we are going to have? S13 is equal to S23. Here I have S23. So this S23 I can write as equal to S13. So thereby S32 is also going to become S13 for us. Okay, so from this relationship, what I can simply write this as now? S13 I can write as, since I have S13, by using the symmetry property, S13 becomes equal to S31. That means most of the parameters of S matrix have simply been reduced, right? Now simply you have to substitute all of them in the S matrix. Now here we consider that the port is going to be a perfectly matched port, is going to have the H matrix, the H plane T is going to have a perfectly matched junction. So if it is a perfectly matched junction, if H matrix, if the H plane is going to be a perfectly matched junction, then S33 becomes equal to 0. That means the input port is 3, output port is also 3. That means this is known as a reflected wave. The reflected wave should be equal to 0. Okay. So in the equation for the S matrix, it is reflected wave by the incident wave. So reflected wave, if it is 0, then definitely 0 by something is always going to be 0 for us. And therefore S33 value is going to become 0 for a perfectly matched components. So therefore S33 I can make it is equal to 0. S11, S12, S13. This remains as it is. The next one is S21. S21 is nothing but S12, S22 as it is. The next S23. S23 is nothing but equal to S13. The next one S31. So S31 is equal to S13. Then here it's going to be S32. S32 is also equal to S13. So we have to simply decompose this into a known simplified parameters. So here, what are the unknowns we have? We have the 4 unknowns: S11, S12, S13, S22 are the 4 unknowns we have. We have to solve for these 4 unknowns to get the S matrix. So ultimately, we have to find out the S matrix parameters. So once we get the S matrix parameters, it is something like we'll be getting the values of all the ports. Right. It is something like it is an experiment. When you perform an experiment, you're going to perform an experiment by giving input to the ports and getting the outputs from other ports. So by using this is what is going to give us a S matrix by simply using all the combinations which we have to represent. So that is why we have to finally give the S matrix representation signal to analyze the working of the HRMT. Okay, now one more property we have called as unitary property, unitary matrix property. It is S into S star is equal to I. So S into S star, just now we have decomposed S matrix. Now same matrix I'll draw here. I'll write it here with a star symbol here. Okay, so it shows that it is going to be a conjugate symmetry matrix. Now, when you multiply these two, it will result into a identity matrix. Now, we know identity matrix, the diagonal values will be equal to 1. All other rest of the values will be zeros in the diagonal matrix. So, this is what the unitary property of the S matrix. By using that, we simply write this particular equation. Now, we have to solve this equation. To solve this equation, we use row 1 and column 1. Multiply row 1 with column 1. So, if row 1 is S11, Column 1 is S11 star, S12, S12 star, S13, S13 star, which is equal to 1. This is nothing but row 1, column 1 component. Similarly, here it is going to be row 2, column 2 component. This is 1. So therefore, row 2, column 2 component, I simply multiply row 2, column 2 component. S12 into S12 star, S22 into S22 star, S13 into S13 star is equal to 1. Okay. So this is what second equation that we will be having. Then row 3, column 3. This one I want is called row 3, column 3. So row 3, where is row 3? This is row 3 and column 3. When you multiply this, I'll be having S13 into S13 star, S13 into S13 star. So here, if it is going to be have a complex conjugate symmetry, then I can write this as S13 star as S13 itself. So therefore, S13 into S13, S13 square, here also S13 square. So by just simply solving this, what I'll be having now 2 into S13 square is equal to 1. So therefore, from equation 3, I can write as S13 is equal to 1 by root 2. Then next one is here, we apply row 3, column 1. This is row 3, column 1. So we apply row 3, column 1. Row 3 means S13, S11, S11 star, S13, S13, and S12 star. This is anyway 0 component. So therefore, I'll be having equation number 4. Now just simply we have to solve these equations to get all the S matrix parameters. So here we are simply comparing the two equations, that is 1 and 2. So just we are solving for two equations, comparing 1 and 2. What is that we have here? S11 square plus S12 square plus S13 square is equal to 1. And S12 square, S22 square, S13 square is equal to 1. So we have these two equations. Equation 1 and equation 2 is these two. So from this I can have now S11 square is equal to something like 1 minus this factor, S12 square, S13 square, all these things. And S22 square is equal to 1 minus this. These two components will be coming on the right hand side of the equation. So therefore finally I can write now, what is that? I can write now S11 square. Now see on the right hand side of this equal to symbol, it is S12 square plus S13 square on both sides. So therefore it is going to be 1 minus this. Therefore I can write as S11 square is equal to S22 square. Therefore S11 becomes equal to S22. So another component of S matrix has been decomposed. Next from equation 4, we have an equation 4 in the above. It's S13 into S11 star, S13, S12 star. Just simply we try to decompose this, which is equal to 0. Now here S13 I can take common. So S11 star, S12 star, which is equal to 0, I can write. So S11 star, S1 plus S12 star, is when this goes to the right hand side, it will be 0. Then I'll be having S11 star is equal to minus of S12 star. Okay. So R I can write S12 star is equal to minus S11 star, whatever it is. So by the conjugate symmetry, I can write S11 is equal to minus S12, or S12 is equal to minus S11. Now let us substitute these values in equation number 1. This is the equation number 1. Okay. Now when you substitute these values in equation number 1, I can have S11 plus S12. I can write as minus S11 star minus S11 square. And next S13. S13 in the previously we got it as 1 by root 2. Now here unknown is going to be only S11. So I'll be getting the value for S11. So once I get the value for S11, what about S11? S11 is equal to S22 from the previous analysis. From the previous comparative statement, we have got this comparing 1 and 2. So I'll be having 1 by 2. Therefore, finally from equation 6, what we can have now, S12 is equal to minus 1 by 2. S12 is equal to minus 1 by 2. So once we get all these parameters, simply we are going to substitute the appropriate S matrix parameters in the S matrix. Now this is what the performance matrix of the H plane T. Now finally, we'll just go with the output equation. So output equation is nothing but I can write as equal to B is equal to S into A, where B is known as the output parameters, A is going to be the input parameters of the S matrix. Now we'll expand this for our S matrix. This S matrix is a 3 by 3 matrix. Therefore, I'll be having 3 rows here, 1 column. input also going to have 3 rows, 1 column. Okay. So like this, we normally going to write this S matrix using the matrix representation. Then we can just go for finding out B1 value. How I can find out B1? B1 is equal to, it's going to be row 1, column 1 multiplication. So 1 by 2 A1 minus 1 by 2 A2 plus 1 by root 2 A3. Similarly for B2, similarly for B3. So all these will get the equations where this A1, A2, A3 are the inputs and B1, B2, B3 are the outputs. Now we apply various cases like case 1, case 2 and case 3 to find out the values for the outputs for the corresponding inputs. Now first case is input is given at port 3. That is what important thing for us. So when input is given at port 3 and no inputs are given at port 1 and port 2, now you should remember this particular H matrix T, the H plane T. This is the H plane T. When input is given to port 3 but no inputs are given to port 1 and port 2. Okay. So when that is the case, what is that we are going to have? Case 1. That is the case 1. That is A3 is not equal to 0. That means input we are applying at port 3. So that input we can consider it as A3. And inputs A1 and A2 will be equal to 0. So wherever you have A1 and A2 in the above equation, say 7 equation, just simply substitute A1, A2 0. This is 0. I left over with B1 is equal to simply A3 by root 2. A3 by root 2. Now substitute the same values in equation number 8 and 9 as well. So B2 becomes equal to A1, A2 0, 1 by root 2 into A3. And next is B3. So B3 becomes equal to 0. So this is what the equation that we have got, A3 by root 2, A3 by root 2. So let P3, which is nothing but port 3 input corresponding to the A3, be the power input to the port 3. Then this power P3 divides equally between port 1 and 2 in phase. That is, phase is same. That means if it is plus, both sides will be plus. If it is minus, both sides, it will be minus only. So power divides equally in the phase. Therefore, P3 is equal to, I can write as what now? P1 plus P2. And it is going to be same phase. So I can write it as 2P1 or 2P2. So finally, I can write this as 10 log of, then now we can write the power coming out of port 1 or port 2. I can write as equal to half power will be coming out. So 10 log of P1 by P3. So P1 by P3 means what? It is P3 is nothing but something like 1 by P3 is nothing but equal to P1. So therefore I'll be having 1 by 2 here. So therefore I can just simply write this as 1 by 2. I can make it as minus 2 here. So finally when you solve this logarithmic equation, we'll be getting as minus 3 dB. So that means here we are simply getting half power from the outputs of port 2 and port 3 when you apply input at port 3. So therefore, because of this property, this particular H plane T is called as a 3 dB splitter. It is splitting the input signal by 3 dB. So therefore, it is known as a 3 dB splitter. And one more thing is that further the TG10 mode, if it is allowed to propagate into port 3, then the electric field lines do not change their direction when they come out of the port 1 and port 2. Hence the H plane T. Hence we call it as a H plane T. Okay, because H plane means what? It should not change the phase of the electric field. That's what it is happening. It should only deal with the magnetic field component. So therefore, it is not at all doing any changes to the what is that electric field components. Therefore, it is called as H plane T. Hence, we say that waves come out of port 1 and port 2 are equal in magnitude and phase. So here H plane T is also called as the current junction, since the magnetic field divides itself into the arms, as all the 3 arms of H plane lie in the plane of the magnetic field. So it is called as a current junction, because it is simply dividing the currents. That is, magnetic field is divided. Therefore, magnetic field is result of the current distributions. Therefore, we call it as a current junction. That is what another distinction we can have. Then other 2 cases we'll just go ahead now. Let's say case 2. So where case 2 you can take as A1, A2 is equal to A. So here we apply the same input to port 1 and port 2. We'll try to see output from port 3. So in port 3 we don't give any input. Now let us substitute all these values in the previous equations of 7, 8, 9. So B1 is equal to like this. I'll be having 0. B2 is equal to also 0. I'll be having B3 is equal to A by root 2 plus A by root 2. That means the output at port 3 is the addition of the two inputs applied at ports 1 and 2. And these are added in the phase. So this is the result that we normally going to get from the S matrix. The next one is going to be the E-plane T. Now in the case of this E-plane T, how we normally going to form the E-plane T? We'll take a rectangular slot. A rectangular slot is normally taken and it is cut along the broader dimension of the long waveguide, and a side arm, this P3 is nothing but side arm, is simply attached as shown to form a E-plane T. So E-plane means what? There should be some plane attached perpendicular to this. H-plane means what? In parallel to this, you have to attach the plane. So that is what called H-plane T. So when this TE10 mode is propagated as shown below into port 3, we apply input to port 3, we get output from port 1 and port 2. And here the two outputs at port 1 and 2 will have a phase of 180 degrees. This is an important point. So in the H-plane T, when you apply the electric field at port 3, we're going to get output from port 1 and port 2 with a phase of 180 degrees change. Since the electric field lines change their direction, they come out of port 1 and port 2, it is called as the E-plane T. So since it is changing the electric field, it is called as the E-plane T. In the previous case, it is changing the magnetic field direction, that is current directions, it is called as a H-plane T. Now pictorially, what is the direction, how the direction is being changed? So E-plane is a voltage junction, H-plane is a current junction, or a series junction symmetrical about the central arm. So this is the junction point of all these three ports. Now imagine if the wave applied at port 3 is having these directions. Now this wave is propagating like this. So when the wave is propagating like this, so it is making two different directions. See, it is starting from here, going like this, going like this, going like this. So this is in one, this phase has been changed. This phase, the phase coming out of it is going to be coming down. And when you come here, what happens now? The wave is normally going to get traveled like this. It is going to get reflected from here and it is going to go like this. So at the end, what is the result we're getting? The electric field coming out of these two ports are opposite in phase. This is in this direction downwards and it is shown as upward direction. It tells that these two are in the opposite directions. You can draw it in either way, okay, of the directions, but you should see that the result is going to be 180 degrees phase shift. So that is what we have. Then S matrix of an E-plane T can be used to describe its properties. Right, now let us go with S matrix parameters. So we say that the power output of port 3 is proportional to the difference between the instantaneous powers entering from port 1 and port 2. So we understand this by using the properties of the S matrix. So if you apply powers at port 1 and port 2 with the same power, then the output at port 3 will be 0. Why? Because if you apply input at port 3, we're getting output at port 1 and port 2 with different phases. So that means now reverse, if you apply the signal with the same phase, these two phases are inverted itself and they're going to get subtracted at the junction, and thereby we won't get any output from the port 3. That is what this particular statement is speaking about. Then if the inputs from two ports is going to be a phase opposition, then maximum power simply going to come out from port 3 or the E arm. So S matrix is, this is the S matrix we have. We just write the S matrix here. Then the scattering coefficients. What I can write scattering coefficients as? Now, what is the property? First one is going to be the property of the E-plane T. In E-plane T, remember the port numbers. The port numbers, please don't change the port numbers that the port numbers I have used here. Collinear arm is always going to be P1, P2. The other arm is going to be P3. That is the port numbers that I have given. So this 3 is nothing but a port 3. That is the E-plane port. And 1 and 2 are the collinear ports. So if you apply input at port 3, we are going to get output from port 1 and port 2 with a change in the phase. Therefore, minus sign is been incorporated here. So why this minus? Because the output is coming as phase change. Therefore, we normally go with. So therefore, I can write S23 is equal to minus S13 because of the property of the E plane T. Now that is the output at port 1 and 2 are out of phase by 180 degrees with an input at port 3. Because of that reason, we have just simply written this the first property of the E plane T. Then from symmetry property, Sij is equal to Sji we can have. Then simply we write as usual in the H plane T how we have written, we write it in the similar manner. And the components are normally going to be same except this going to be minus S13. Okay, that is only the change here. Earlier we have plus S13. Here now we will be having a minus S13. If port 3 is perfectly matched port from the input from the two inputs, collinear inputs 1 and 2, then S33 should be equal to 0. So therefore S33 is taken as 0. Now once again same analysis, we equate it to the unitary matrix with this condition. Then I can just simply write the S matrix like this. Then R1 C1 I'll get this equation 1, R2 C2 I'll get this equation, R3 C3 I'll be getting this equation, and next one is R3 C1 I'll have to get this particular equation, R3 C1. So therefore this R3 C1 is nothing but say equation 4 I have. So here what I can write this as now, S13 into S11 star minus S13 into S12 star is equal to 0 we can have. Okay. So here what is how I can really write this as now S13. Now the substitutions we have made here actually. So S11 I can take common. If I take S11 common, S11 star minus S12 star, because S13 is here, I can take S13 as common. So just similar to the previous analysis, we go for finding out S11 square from equation 1, from equation to S22 square. These two are going to be same. So therefore S11 becomes equal to S22. So from equation 3, we normally going to find out here, see S11 square, S13 square plus S13 square. So therefore, same as the previous analysis, S1 of H plane, S13 is equal to 1 by root 2 I'll be having. Okay. So therefore, from equation 4 now, I make the substitutions now. S11 star is equal to S12 star. And since S13 is not is equal to 0, what is S13? Input is applied at port 3, output we are going to get at port 1. It is not equal to 0 definitely. So therefore S13 is normally equal to 1 by root 2. S11 is equal to S12 is equal to S22 from the previous symmetry property. Then by substituting all of them in equation 1, we'll be proceeding towards getting the various values of S11, S22, S11 is equal to 1 by 2. And by substituting all these S matrix parameters, we'll be getting this S matrix. Now this S matrix, same equation we have. Left hand side are the inputs, right hand side is going to be the outputs. So therefore this B1, B2, B3 are the outputs, and A1, A2, A3 are the inputs for us. Now by just solving this equation by multiplying these two equations for B1, B2, B3, we'll be getting three equations, B1, B2, B3. And let us apply the cases, two cases to get the various values of the outputs for the corresponding inputs. So first of all, case 1, when A3 is not is equal to 0, that means input A3 is not equal to 0, but A1, A2 are 0. A1, A2, 0. So therefore, by substituting A1, A2, 0 in these equations, what I can have now? B1 is equal to A3 by root 2, B2 is equal to minus A3 by root 2, and B3 is equal to 0. Same in magnitude, but out of phase outputs we are going to get. So output of B1 and B2 are same in magnitude, but opposite in phase because of the negative sign. So therefore, E plane T also acts as a 3 dB splitter for us. Now, say another case, A1, A2 is equal to A and A3 is equal to 0. Then what is B1? What is B2? What is B3? So B1, B2 is equal to A. That means the outputs from port 1, outputs from port 2 is equal to A. What about the output from port 3? So it's going to be 0. That is equal inputs at port 1 and port 2 is given. Then output is going to come as 0. Okay, this is what the property of the E-plane T. So another case, similarly, I can write it, extend it as something like A1 not equal to 0 and A2 is equal to 0, A3 is equal to 0. Accordingly, I'll be getting this kind of the output. So this is what the inputs and outputs for the E-plane T for us. Okay. So next we go with the magic T. Magic T is normally formed similar to the previous two. That means we'll take one rectangular waveguide, and this rectangular waveguide is normally, it's a big rectangular waveguide. We normally cut this along the width here. This is the width of the, this is the breadth of the H plane T. This is going to be the width of the rectangularity, and we cut this width portion here, this width portion, some width portion, and we cut this and we join these two to form the magic T. Okay, so this is what the magic T. Now in the magic T, if you adjust, that means if any two ports are going to be matched ports, we normally going to get other two going to be off matched ports. So this is what the magic which is going to happen in the case of the magic T. So magic T is a 4-port device. Now once again, story same. Port 1, the collinear ports are port 1 and port 2. Port 3 is a H-arm. Port 4 is the E-arm. Don't change the port numbers. Please keep the port numbers like this only, because if you change the port numbers, the entire derivation normally going to change. So it is going to be a 4-port device. So we normally going to have a 4 by 4 matrix. So I can write the S matrix like this as a 4 by 4 generalized matrix. Now it has got H plane, it has got a E plane. So therefore, the properties of H and E are going to get included here. That is what the extra thing which we have to consider to get the parameters. Very simple, same as the previous procedure. No need to worry, nothing. Very, very simple procedure. So because of H plane T, what is that we are going to have? When we apply input at port 3, when we apply input at port 3, that is H plane port, then output is going to come from port 1 and port 2, which is going to be same in magnitude and phase. Similarly, when you apply input at port 4, output will be coming at port 1 and port 2 with a different in phase, same in magnitude. So because of geometry of junction, the input at P3 cannot come out of P4. Now this is what important. If you apply input at port 3, output will not come out from port 4. That means in magic T, if you apply input at port 3, output is not going to come out from port 4. Similarly, if you apply input at port 4, output will not come out at port 3 because of the symmetry. Because of the symmetry, that is what the condition we normally going to have. And hence they are isolated ports. So port 3 and port 4 are known as isolated ports. Port 3 is known as H port, port 4 is known as E port. So these two are isolated ports. Therefore, I can write as S34, S43 is equal to 0 with that particular condition. Therefore, for symmetry property, Sij is equal to Sji. Simply I equate all these symmetrical parameters here, and accordingly I'll be getting like this altogether. So finally I'll be getting the 3-port S matrix parameter like this. Now story remains same, unitary matrix. Simply S into S conjugate is equal to I. We simply substitute this, same as the previous procedure, get the equations for R1 C1, R2 C2, R3 C3, and R4 C4. And by solving all these particular equations, finally we will be getting the parameters for S11 to S44. And once we get all the parameters, we simply substitute in this to get the S matrix. Now the beauty of the magic T is what this. In any 4-port in any 4-port network or a junction, if any 2 ports are perfectly matched to the junction, then the remaining ports will get automatically matched. This is what the magic which is happening here. Therefore, it is called as a magic T. That's all. So B is equal to S into A. I can substitute here now. Similar to this, then I can just simply solve all this for B1, B2, B3. Now various cases we apply. When A3 is not equal to 0 and A1, A2, A4 are zeros, that means input is applied only at A3, that is H-arm T. Then we normally going to find out. Similarly, other case 2 is going to have like inputs A1, A2, A3 0, A4 not equal to 0. We will be getting these as the outputs. So this is that means we'll be simply once again reiterating the properties of the E plane and H plane T's. And finally, case 4 and case 5, you just do it by yourself as a homework. Because this is what the S matrix of the E plane T, H plane T, and a magic T. Okay. So thank you very much for the today's session. We'll stop it here. In the next session, we'll go with directional coupler to end up with this particular unit of the S matrix, that is microwave components. Thank you very much for today's session.